How many times did you walk around feeling like the weight of the world was crushing you, and the people around you who had a front row seat to your life and to witnessing you decided that that wasn't something that they were willing to help you with? Welcome to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Najwa Zabian. I've always been a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they didn't break and to break what they had no right in breaking. And today's episode is going to be on a topic that many of you have reached out to me to talk about, and it's when somebody walks away in a hurtful way. Maybe they cheated on you. Maybe they walked away with your best friend. Maybe they just woke up one day and told you, I just don't want to be with you anymore. It's those endings that blindside you. It's the endings that come out of nowhere. Or maybe you saw them coming, but you just never thought they would actually happen. And maybe there's a part of you that just thought, the more and more of myself that I invest in this and the more hope that I have that it's going to work out, the more that they're going to see the value in this and they're just not going to walk away from me. And then they ended up walking away from you. Or maybe they gave you hope and maybe they made all these promises about wanting to work on the relationship and wanting to do better and wanting to be there for you. But then out of the blue, they just did something that showed you that they didn't mean any of it. And you're just left with all this pain and destruction, and they're completely gone. They're not there to help you clean it up. They're not there to help you rebuild. They're not there to help you grieve. They're gone. And you're left with all the pieces to pick up. You're left with all of the broken promises, with all of the broken dreams for the future, with all of the broken, beautiful memories from the past that you shared with them, and you have nowhere to put all of that. You're in a state of shock. You have no idea where to even begin. There's a part of you that's still living in denial, thinking, this can't be true. This can't be real. You just don't know how to deal with it. And the answer in that moment is to not force yourself out of that, because if you push the part where you're shocked and where you're surprised away, then you're kind of denying yourself your own humanity. You're denying yourself from the ability to sit there and say to yourself, that was really painful. That was really hurtful. I didn't deserve that. That person, out of all people, after everything that we went through together, or after everything that I've done for them, they just got up and they were just so easily able to say goodbye without really saying goodbye and just start over without me. Like when you verbalize these things to yourself and when you allow yourself to feel the pain of that shock, that abandonment, that betrayal, you will be able to pick up the pieces in a much more empowering way for yourself. And yes, you will be sad picking up those pieces, and you will go through tough times, and you will think to yourself over and over and over and over, how could this have happened? What did I miss? Where did I go wrong? What could I have done differently? What could I have done to change that ending? There is nothing that you could have done to change that ending. The only thing that stops a person from walking away from you is their decision to stay. And they made a decision to walk away from you. They really, really made that decision. You have to believe that instead of living in denial. There was a point in my therapy session where I would be speaking to my therapist and I would say, I can't believe, and I would look away every single time. And she noticed that. And she said to me, stop looking away because you're looking away from the truth, and look it straight in the eyes and say, wow, they really did that. They really said that. In this moment, stop looking away and saying, how could they have walked away? How could they have walked away with that person? How could they have betrayed my trust in this way? How could they just leave everything that we had together behind? Stop looking away from the truth and look it straight in the eyes and say, they did just walk away. Wow. It's the truth. It's the reality. That's actually what happened. Stop looking away from it just because you're so afraid that it's going to hurt you more. It's like not wanting to look directly at the sun because you know you're going to have to look away. But in this situation, you're not looking at something as beautiful and as glowing as the sun. You're not looking at something that's going to hurt you to look at just because of how beautiful it is. You're looking at destruction. You're looking at pain. You're looking at your whole life that you saw in a certain way be completely taken away from you. That's what you're looking at. And the reason you look away and you don't want to face it head on is because you know that once you look at it for what it is, you're going to have to do something about it. You're going to have to get yourself up. You're going to have to rebuild what they broke. And maybe what they broke was something that the two of you built together. And you say, why is it my responsibility to pick up and fix and rebuild what they took part in putting together? And the answer to that is because that's life. Life isn't fair. And if there's any person in this world that has a really big issue with that, it's me. I've always been the one to say, that's not fair. That's not right. And I've learned with time that that comes from a place of integrity. It comes from a place of fairness. Like, I'm a very fair person. I treat people fairly. I do the right thing. So I expect the world around me to be the same. And I expect it to make sense to them. But just because something makes sense to you, it's logical. We built all of this together and we have a beautiful life. And I tried so hard for so long. And I wish that you would see that. You think those things and you think they're going to make sense to them. But they're not coming from a same place as you, and they don't have the same character as you. Maybe you are somebody who really values fairness, and they are somebody who thinks, I will get what I can out of life, and when I find something better than what I have, I'm going to go for it. And you might think that that makes them have the upper hand in this dynamic, but it really doesn't have to do with them being up here and you being here just because they're the ones who said, I can do better than you, I'm going to leave. This means nothing about you. We always say the grass is greener on the other side, and I've heard people say the grass is greener where you water it, and I truly believe that. But I don't want you to think of the grass is greener where you water it when it comes to this person who hurt you and say, well, they didn't really water our relationship and that's why it fell apart. Sure, you could say that, but I want you to apply that example to your own life. What are you watering in your life? Are you watering your actual life? Or did you spend all your time trying to make a shared space between you and somebody else greener to the point where your own grass is not even there? It's dead. It's bare land that has nothing growing on it. What are you doing within your own home within? Are you spending time in it? Or did you leave it abandoned with dust all over the place and things that you wanted to be renovated at a certain point and they're mid-renovation because you never had time for them. Maybe you wanted to work on your dream, but you said to yourself, but the dream I have with this other person is more important, so I better pour all of myself into that. And you forgot about everything that means something to you, and everything that helps you feel better, and everything that helps you feel like this is who I am. You've abandoned parts of yourself to meet somebody else in a place that they were never really invested in. And sure, you can say, well, that breakup blindsided me completely. I had no idea it was coming, but something inside of you knew. And the thing that just blows your mind away is that in the moments when you had certain signs that someone wasn't really invested in you, you didn't see it. You saw it as something else. Maybe you gave them an excuse. Maybe you got so used to them doing something that you just didn't see it as a sign that they're not invested, because they convinced you that that's not what it means. It's just how they are, and you accepted them for who they are, thinking that's what love is. But then when you look back, you're like, what was I thinking? How did I let that pass? And I just overlooked it and I moved forward from it and we stayed together and blah, blah, blah. You will always see things looking back that in the moment you just couldn't see. And it's really tempting to blame yourself and say, I should have known better. But even if you knew better, maybe you were too afraid to work by that knowledge, because you knew that if you did, you were going to be the one to abandon them. And maybe you're just not used to it. Maybe you see abandoning someone as a really bad thing because you see someone abandoning you as a really bad thing. But think of the difference between someone walking away from something really great and really special and someone walking away from something that is really hurtful to their existence, that is mistreating them. Sometimes we don't walk away from the people that we love, even though they're hurting us, because we don't want to hurt them even more. But what we're doing is we're prioritizing their comfort over our own pain that is caused directly by them. But we stop ourselves from walking away because we think, I don't want to be the bad guy. But why are you the bad guy for walking away from something that is really bad for you? Like, when did you learn that? Who taught you that? That walking away from something that is really bad for you makes you the bad guy. I know exactly why you think that, because you're so focused on the walking away part. You see it as such a terrible thing. So you say, I'm not going to do that thing because it makes me a bad person. Because in your view, someone walking away from you makes them the bad person in your life too. But don't forget the part about what you're walking away from. If you're walking away from something that's really bad for you, from someone mistreating you, from someone abusing you, from someone abusing your trust, from someone betraying you over and over, from someone not respecting you as a human being, that doesn't make you the bad guy in your story. It might make you the bad guy in their story. But it makes you the hero in your own story because you saved yourself from something really, really bad for you. And then what ended up happening when you decided that you're not going to be the bad guy? You're not going to walk away from someone who's not good for you. You ended up being walked away from. And now you're sitting thinking, I should have been the one that walked away. If anybody had the right to walk away, it would have been me. But I didn't do it. And they did it. And your ego starts telling you things like, see, I told you, you're dumb, you're stupid. You don't know how to stand up for yourself. You don't know how to do the right thing for yourself because maybe you've always fallen into the victim mentality and you're comfortable there. People always walk away from me. People always abandon me. People never see the good that I have to offer them. And that bond that you have to those beliefs becomes stronger and stronger, because now you have yet another story, another experience that actually confirms that for you. And you're stuck in the loop. But let's break that. And instead of saying, I should have been the one to walk away, and they had no right walking away from me. They're not better than me, but now they're making me feel that way because they walked away from me. They made that choice. They chose to hurt me. And I had so many opportunities to be the one to do that, and I didn't. Instead of speaking to yourself in that way, maybe you break the pattern and you say, this was just one other person in my life who chose to walk away from me. But that doesn't mean that I'm someone who deserves to be walked away from. This was just one other person in my life who walked in and gave me all these promises and all these hopes and made me feel that there was no way they could ever walk away, but they made that choice, and that choice doesn't mean anything about me. I can move forward and find people who mean what they say and who love me fiercely and strongly and in a way where that love only reflects respect and not, I don't mean like respect in the way that we say it every single day. I mean like respect for who I am as a human being. That's hard to find, but you have to have hope. If you had hope in such a bad place with someone, like they were not treating you well at all, they were making your life a living hell in so many ways, and you still had hope that it would work out, why couldn't you have hope that you could find somebody who actually treats you right? You can have that hope. Like hope usually grows in positivity and in just having beautiful thoughts about the future and about what could happen. You made hope grow in such a negative place. If you could do it in such a negative place, imagine how much more you could do it in a much more positive place, where that hope can actually grow and you can see it. In a negative and toxic environment, you put hope and it's not really growing beautifully. It's not really growing on anything. It's just an idea. It's just an illusion. It has nothing to grow off of other than negativity and fear and pain and. But put hope in a positive environment where you can give it love, where you can give it kindness, where you could give it belief in yourself, and that you can add to it trying new things and curiosity about yourself and the world around you. That hope can grow into such a beautiful thing. Grow that hope outside of that negative place that you were in. I don't care if they walked away from you. I don't care if they betrayed you. I mean, I care, but you know what I mean. If they did all of that stuff to you, don't let what they did to you in the past and what they left you with stop you from living however many more years or decades you still have in this life. What they did is on them to own. And if they never own it, leave it where they left it. Don't carry it with you. It's not your responsibility. Stop carrying baggage from your past with them into your present with yourself and with somebody else. That's not fair to you or to somebody else. When someone walks away from you in a way that blindsides you or in a way that feels so unfair, leave that negativity and that betrayal right there. You can visit it every once in a while because it hurts, because it reminds you of what you should never accept again, but don't carry it with you. And take the time to heal. Take the time to learn. In a previous episode, we talked about how moving on very quickly isn't really a sign that you've healed, and it's not really a badge of honor. It's not really the greatest thing to do. Sometimes moving on quickly means moving on to your healing, moving on to becoming a better person, moving on to becoming a more self-loving person, a person who takes their time to get to know somebody else, a person who takes their time to figure out what it is that they actually want with their life. If you were with somebody who you molded into their life because you didn't know what you wanted, and then they walked away from you at some point, and you didn't take the time to learn what it is that you want, you're going to jump into a relationship with somebody else and you're going to mold into their life. And you're going to end up in the same spot. A spot where you're living your life for somebody else and not for yourself. And you're putting yourself at danger of being left behind again in the ashes of somebody else's destruction. And thinking, everybody walks away from me. Everybody leaves me behind. Everybody uses everything that I have to offer and then they don't value it. You fall down that same pattern. Don't let somebody's ability to close the door on you make you close the door on yourself. Don't make their ability to just leave you behind make you leave yourself behind. Sit with yourself in that pain, in that destruction, and be the one who lifts you up. Be the one who gets you out of it. Be the light that you wish other people were for you in that moment. That light is already inside of you. And the biggest indication is that you're listening to this, because if you weren't like this, these words would mean nothing to you. You wouldn't be suffering. You wouldn't be struggling. And the reason you're going through all of this is because you're so thirsty for your own authenticity. Like, you're so sick and tired of living your life in a way that other people look at you and say, oh, wow, they're living an amazing life and blah, blah, blah. You're tired of living in a performative way and you want to live a genuine, authentic life. And I salute you for that. But part of living a genuine, authentic life is feeling the pain that people left you with, but not feeling it in a way where it becomes chronic and it becomes part of you and it goes with you everywhere that you go. And if you feel right now like you are carrying that pain and you just don't know how to put it down, use this tip. Every time you feel heavy, I want you to just, wherever you are, close your eyes and imagine like you are taking that weight out of your hands and you're physically moving it to somewhere outside of you. You're taking it off your shoulders and you're putting it down. And the more and more you do this, the more you will feel like carrying it is a choice. And maybe you've been carrying it for so long not knowing that it was a choice because you thought, I don't know how to live any other way. But you'll learn with time that it's a choice and that you have the ability to say, I don't want to carry this today. And I want to share a story with you. Yesterday I was grocery shopping and I have this thing where every time I go to get some groceries, I think I'm not going to get that much. So I'll carry like a little basket and then I start putting things and then it fills up and it's really heavy and I start seeing marks on my arms because of how heavy it is. And I do that not just with groceries, I do that with life too sometimes and with work and with responsibilities. And so I'm walking around and I'm clearly struggling to carry it, but I'm thinking this always happens. I'm not really thinking much of it. And this older person who worked at the grocery shop came up to me and said, do you need a cart? I can go get you one. And I was like, oh no, I'm good. And he's like, no, that looks like it's really heavy for you. Let me go get you a cart. And I could instantly tell myself, like, this person works there. They're only doing it because they're working there. But that wasn't the truth because that's not part of their job. They don't get paid to do that. They get paid to do the putting the groceries away and making sure things are where they belong and all of that. And it hit me that sometimes we try to find an excuse or a reason for why someone offered us help because we've been so burned in our life where sometimes people offered something, but it was only because they wanted something in return. So it becomes really hard for us to see someone offering us a kind gesture or some help just as that's who they are. And They're just genuinely being nice for no reason other than being nice. And the part that was really left with me when I left the grocery store was this. How many times did you walk around in your own life? I'm actually going to cry. How many times did you walk around in your own life clearly being in so much pain and carrying a lot more than you can handle? And the people around you who were supposed to love you and see you in your pain and offer you help and support made you feel like that's nothing to pay attention to. They could see your need for help and for support and your struggle, but they looked away from it, and it made you think that walking around with all that pain and with all that suffering was normal, and it was just part of life. How many times did you walk around feeling like the weight of the world was crushing you, and the people around you who had a front row seat to your life and to witnessing you decided that that wasn't something that they were willing to help you with? And so you just walked around thinking, that's just me, that's just the way that my life is, and it's okay. And it just became normalized for you to walk around with all this pain because you can handle it. And because nobody's willing to come and take that weight off your shoulders or your arms or your soul or your heart and say, I'm going to help you with this. How many times did that happen in your life? And how many times did you spend so much time with those people after that because they didn't validate that they made a mistake during those times, when every time that you clearly needed someone there, they weren't willing to be that someone. And if anything, they just added to your plate. They added to the weight that you were carrying. They added to your pain. They added to your suffering and to your struggle. And you stayed with them. You kept them in your life because you had this identity that said, I just give. I just help, but I never receive, and I never get help, because maybe on some level you think that you don't deserve it. And maybe on some level you think that if you do accept help from others, that it means that you're weak. And so you saw their lack of willingness to see you as something that's just normal. Reflect on those times and let that be a reminder for you that people who actually love and care about you aren't blind to your pain. They're not blind to the weight you're carrying around everywhere you go. They're choosing to do that. They're choosing to be that way. They're choosing to walk by you in the grocery store and see how much you're struggling and just walk away. Go for the people who pay attention and for the people who feel pain when they see you in pain. Go for the people who, the moment they see you struggling to pick something up, before they even think, they want to help you pick it up. They want to be the one that's there to help save and rescue you in that moment. From a place of love, from a place of that's just genuinely who they are. So if someone walked away from you and they weren't that person, that's a blessing. It's a blessing not only for you in the present, it's a blessing for every future version of you that knows that you deserve better. And it's a blessing for every younger version of you that was taught that they deserved that version of love. The one that walks away, the one that abandons, the one that uses, the one that adds pain, the one that sees you suffering and says, that's not my business. You do what you need to do for yourself. Words that found me. These words they're gonna move you. I just know it. Every time I listen to this song and I get to this part, I literally get goosebumps. And these words are from Taylor Swift's My Tears Ricochet. I don't know if you've heard that song before, but you should listen to it. But there's a part where she says, "You wear the same jewels that I gave you as you bury me." Every single time I hear them, I get this visual of someone who you elevated and you helped grow and you added so much to their life. And because they took so much from you, you just couldn't do it anymore. And maybe they're not burying you physically. Maybe you're not actually dead, but your spirit is, your soul is, your willingness to live and be your happy, loving, caring self is just not there anymore. And now they've sucked the life out of you and the love out of you and all these great things. And as they wear them and decorate themselves in them, they bury you or who you used to be. How powerful is that? And it's like they had the audacity to take all of that from you and then take part in your demolition. Maybe that's not what Taylor Swift meant, but that's what I got. And I'm pretty sure that is what she meant. But how many people in your life are willing to take everything that they took from you, and at the point that they're destroying you, it's all there. They took your positive traits, like how great of a person you are and how much value you add to other people, and now they've had so many more people depend on them, and now that they've gotten to a point where they're so big that they could put on this image of being what you used to be, and they're saying, you're nothing. And I'm gonna attend the celebration of you becoming nothing. How many people in your life do that? If those people had the audacity to not only take part in your destruction and not only show up at every opportunity where they could break you down even further and talk about how bad you are as a person or how worthless you are as a person, I hope that you take the time to reevaluate where you're going to place every beautiful thing that you are going to create moving forward. And I hope that you make the choice to not use any of that to show that they are a bad person and they did all these like awful things to you and they don't deserve where they are in life. Let them keep it. Let them keep what they took from you. Remember these words I said in Welcome Home? Let them keep what they took from you. If they took your love, let them keep it. If they took your honesty, let them keep it. And build something new. Don't let your energy go on being like, give me back all of that. Give me back all the jewels you're wearing as you bury me. They're tainted. They're done. The only value they had was that you gave them. That's it. I hope these words helped inspire you. And if you listen to the song, when you get to that part, just let it move you. And I know it will now that you've listened to it in this way. And the words from me that I'm going to read to you this week are from the Book of Healing. And this poem is called Other Places. It's page 53. What will you say when they ask you, why did you let her go? If it was her sadness, that is what made her real. If it was her sensitivity, that is what made her considerate. If it was her unconditional love for you, that is what made her loyal to you. But it's true, that we walk away from what's real because we're too afraid of staying in one place. She built a home for you, but you still had other places to see. I think these words speak for themselves, and I hope that this episode moved you to change even the smallest thing in your life today. And I hope it reminded you that someone's decision to walk away from you has no bearing on your worth, and it has no bearing on the worth of every single younger version of you that was walked away from. It doesn't mean that you deserve that people walk away from you. It just means that you haven't learned yet what real love means and what it means to actually stay. If this episode helped you, or if you feel like I said something that would help somebody else, please share it with them. Please take the time to subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review, and leave a comment even. Interact with this content. Let people know this is a podcast worth listening to, and let them believe that you believe in the power of words to heal. I hope that these words helped you and moved you to see healing and feel healing beyond words. And until next time, have a lovely day.